What's up, y'all? It's your boy Vinnie-Dangerous, and I'm back with another installment of Dangerous Minds. I appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as well as like and share this video. And if you hit the link in the subscription below, please become a supporter of the channel with the Patreon site. Just for $2 a month, you get exclusive content and other perks that other people do not get. People that watch the channel for free, they just get the episodes like this, but you get this and a lot more for just $2 a month. I would really appreciate that, because that money will be put towards supporting this channel, helping to build this channel and build this show and make it bigger and better and more entertaining for your viewing pleasure. So I'd really appreciate, for just $2 a month, you get that plus more. So once again, thank you for tuning in, because this episode right here is very personal for me. If you followed me for any length of time, I've probably said it once, twice, maybe a million times, how much I love this album. And to coincide with the anniversary of Tupac's death, this episode is coming out on the 10th. Tupac died 21 years ago as of September 13, in 1996, when he was shot in the Las Vegas Strip. So to pay tribute to him, I want to highlight one of the not only best hip hop albums, is criminally underrated for multiple reasons. And if it wasn't for this album, wasn't for me listening to this in 1999, that's why I joke and I say that I am one of the last 90s rappers left. Because I began my music career, well, at least my journey in music, in 1999 at the age of 7. If it wasn't for this album coming across me in 1999, there would not be a Vinnie-Dangerous today. I can promise you that. And the album that I'm speaking about came out in 1995. Tupac's Me Against the World. And in this episode, I want to talk about how not only how much I love this album, but out of all 5 of the albums that Tupac came out, and when I say, you know, I'll even throw in the Machiavelli album that he dropped. Like, well, that was dropped after he died, but the album was already recorded. He had put the album together, and they had already shot 2 of the 3 videos before he died. So, you know, I count that one as a release because it was put together before. It just so happened that he died before the album could be released to the public. But if out of all of the albums that he put out before his death, Me Against the World is his best album. Yes, that might be a controversial opinion for a lot of people, because All Eyes on Me is not only the album that most people, you know, hold to the highest regard when it comes to Tupac, it's also his most successful album. And, you know, it has some of the biggest hits that he's ever had. And it was even the album title that they used to title his biopic that came out earlier this year. And with that being said, I still feel like Me Against the World is his best album. And here's why. Out of most of the things that people know about Tupac is his controversy, his acting ability, you know, the songs like, you know, Keep Your Head Up, Dear Mama, California Love, I Ain't Mad at You, and of course his legendary hip-hop beef with Biggie Smalls. You know, so all of that, plus his thug life persona and his controversies, all of that is what made Tupac a bigger name. But as an artist, what made Tupac such a great hip-hop artist was his ability to, you know, expand beyond the traditional labels that a lot of hip-hop artists got and that are still prevalent today. He did it with such ease. He had songs like I Get Around, right next to Keep Your Head Up, and Nobody Better Than I. And just his ability to do that was because no matter what he did, it was 100% him, and he was showing people that you were a human One of the things that I try to do in my music is to show that as human beings, we're multifaceted. We may like the strip club, but we can also have thought-provoking conversations. We can do a hit 'em, we can do a hit 'em up. We can do a Dear Mama. We can do a Keep Your Head Up. We can also do a I Get Around. You don't have to just be a conscious rapper that acts like they avoid the strip club all the time because you know you go. You may or may not go, but there's a lot of you that do. But because you're a such and such rapper, you can't do that. The same thing as a trap artist or a rapper that's always in a club. You know, people act like they can't have thought-provoking narratives. And Tupac was able to do both of that and do it effortlessly. That's why he has hits on so many ends of the spectrum. And I feel like that trait is one of the biggest things that defined Tupac as a musician. And I feel like Me Against the World is the perfect representation of that as a whole. As a whole, it's a better listening experience than a lot of other albums. Even All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me is a 2-disc album. You know, this is a theory I got. It's a 2-disc album because it was a struggle between what Death Row wanted and what Tupac wanted. I feel like there's half the album is songs that Tupac wanted to do, probably songs that he might have already had put together, or you know, stuff that he might have even been writing while he was incarcerated. And then there's the songs like you know, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. Even songs as big as hits like Two of America's Most Wanted and California Love. I feel like those songs were more of what Death Row was already doing at the time, but it sounds nothing like anything Tupac was doing beforehand. Yes, he did do songs like I Get Around and, you know, Pour Out a Little Liquor or something like that, but there was still a lot more of a message that was behind those songs. Maybe not I Get Around, but that was just him having fun. It wasn't a lot of gangster stuff. And I feel like he was really like this super gangster once he got with Death Row. And if anybody, you know, feels any different, please let me know. But when I go through Tupac's catalogs between the time he went to jail, which was shortly before the release of Me Against the World, and when he put out All Eyes on Me, it just feels like it was two different pops on some of those songs. So I feel like he reached his real musical peak with Me Against the World as him being true and honest to himself. Like if you take a look at the track list, you see like so many different things that made Tupac a great rapper and a great artist that are way more defined and way more apparent in this album. The most well-known song on the whole track list is Dear Mama, one of his biggest songs and one of his most personal and relatable songs. Like a lot of people can relate to that song if you got love for your mom, whether you like hip-hop music or not, or you relate to the streets or not, or you know, any other thing that, you know, Tupac stood for and a lot of hip-hop is associated with. You know, that song transcends all of that. And you know, before this, you never really heard about Tupac as a person. You heard about him speak about things that were affecting the community, like songs like Keep Your Head Up and Brenda's Got a Baby, where he's kind of an onlooker, just talking about stuff that is going on that he associates himself with. But you never really heard about his personal story and a lot of his music, you know, before this. And this album provided way more of a glimpse of who Tupac is, thanks to songs like Dear Mama and songs like Old School, which, you know, a lot of people associate Tupac with the West Coast. But up until he was about 14 or 15 years old, I believe, he lived in New York. And, you know, so if you think about it, Tupac died at the age of 25. So he spent majority of his lifetime in New York. And this song is like him paying a tribute to that part of his life that is often overlooked because of the East Coast, West Coast beef that was all over the media and associated with his beef with Biggie, you know, before he died. And if you would have listened to this song, and people from the East Coast that had problems with Tupac, that probably would have just, you know, discredited all of that noise that was being pushed to sell magazines and sell, you know, the story and the sensationalism that was surrounded by this personal issue he had with Big. You know, you've had songs like, you know, Old School that was like kind of happier, upbeat songs. You got Temptation with, you know, it's a fun, you know, groovy track. My favorite song on the whole project, that and Death Around the Corner, where, you know, he's just having fun and just talking about, you know, women and, you know, dealing with the temptations that come with that. But then on the flip side of the coin, you got the, you know, the sadness of songs like Lord Knows, and, you know, songs like So Many Tears. Because not only, you know, was he about to go to jail at this time, which was already probably a mental strain, but he had just got shot in the studio not too long ago, before, you know, before he ended up going to jail, which was the reason behind his paranoia and believing that Big set him up, that sparked the whole beef between the two. And, you know, you could hear the paranoia in those songs. You could hear the, you know, feeling like I'm about to die or somebody's out to get me. It's songs like If I Die Tonight, or, you know, Death Around the Corner, like I mentioned before. And, you know, then you got songs with the bravado, like, you know, Heavy in the Game and Outlaw, where he's just on his, like, you know, fuck everything. You went from his kind of like paranoia, kind of peeking around the corner, not really know what's going on, to feelings of, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna go out in a blaze of glory or whatever. Like, and it was so many different roller coasters that his albums took you on. I mean, this album took you on. And, you know, listening to it, it's just so much you can pull from it. You know, if you're feeling like down, you're feeling sad, or you're feeling angry, or you're feeling upbeat, or you're feeling happy, there's so many different things as you can pull from this album. And when I think about a complete album that from beginning to end describes who a person is, and you get a glimpse of who they are and what they represent and what is going on in their life at that moment, this album, you know, epitomizes that for me. Like I would say that one of the things that I look for from hip hop, you know, more than a production, more than being lyrical, more than being the best MC or having the best flow or the best cadence, you know, having the best songs, is when I listen to your music, do I know who you are? When I listen to you, I don't want to hear that person. I don't want to hear the dude next to you, the dude before you, or the dude coming after you. I want to hear you. And I think that's lost in music today. People are so quick to grab on to what's hot right now, what's the biggest songs, and they want to try to copy the formula that is already working. And fan supported labels, you know, aggressively go after it. But I feel like on the essence of what makes a complete artist, that you have to be able to tell your story at that moment in time, as well as taking me on a journey from your past to your present to your future. And I feel like out of all of Tupac's albums, this album does that the most. And let me know if you agree or disagree. Like I said, it's one of the most important albums in my career, and it's a big part of the reason why Vinnie-Dangerous exists today. But if you feel like that All Eyes on Me or any other Tupac album is best, or if you want to go back and forth of the feelings you got from the album, or if you agree with my opinion or not, let me know in the comments below. Please tune in next week for another episode of Dangerous Mind. Please subscribe to the channel so you can know when these episodes drop first, and become a supporter on the Patreon site. And before I forget, please follow the Instagram page and like the Facebook fan page. Dangerous Minds at YouTube. Dangerous Minds YouTube on IG, and Dangerous Minds YouTube on Facebook. As always, I'm your boy Vinnie-Dangerous, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
I'm proud to say I built my bread on honesty, so I really appreciate if you ain't lie to me. I ain't like these other rappers, they all lie to me. That's why I'd rather speak the truth, it'll set you free. Girl, I'm proud to say I built my brand on honesty, so I'd really appreciate if you ain't lie to me. I ain't like these other rappers, they all lie to me. That's why I'd rather speak the truth, it'll set you free.